And good morning and welcome. I'm Jennifer Britton. I'm your host of these virtual book club calls and, of course, the author of The Coaching Business Builder, along with 4 other publications. I host these calls once or twice a month, and today's call is happening on the first day of fall 2019. As we step into a new season, I'm curious what's possible for you and your business. Well, these are very practical and tactical calls. I hope that you will follow along with a notebook. Today's topic is all about building your team as a solopreneur. Again, Coaching Business Builder is geared for coaches, and most coaches are operating either one, a virtual business, or likely a solopreneurial business. A solopreneur, of course, is a one-person show. As entrepreneurs, we may have visions to grow our business in lots of different ways. And I would say historically, most coaches have started off working as a solopreneur, maybe joining forces with others and sometimes growing their business into a much bigger entity. All of the writing and resourcing that you can find around Coaching Business Builder goes back to coachingbusinessbuilder.com. And the whole work is really grounded in the notion of daily steps plus consistent action creates momentum. This is so critical when we are a one-person show. And I say that as someone who is 15 years into business and intentionally has chosen not to grow a large mega business. Nothing wrong with that, but my own business model is one of a solopreneur. I love to write, I love to speak, and really looking at scalability, it's about bringing people on board for specific projects rather than growing a huge team. Now, I host these calls, as I said, every month. If you'd like to follow along, I would invite you to click on over to Instagram at Coaching Biz Builder. That's my Instagram handle. I just started last month or a few weeks ago the season 2 of the 90 Days of PlanDoTrack. And as many of you would know, PlanDoTrack is my sister planner workbook. So we have the 2 analog workbook planners. I'll just show these to you. You've probably seen them before. They are paper-based. PlanDoTrack is really geared towards virtual professionals. It could be a virtual entrepreneur, it could be your VA, it could be a virtual team member or a remote worker. It really grew out of the success of Coaching Business Builder, which is all about helping coaches grow their own business. Upcoming calls that you might be interested in, Monday, October 21st, is all about virtual pathways. So a lot of my work these days is all about what are the different pathways that lead us to virtual work? What are the skills that we need? And of course, that links back to my Effective Virtual Conversations book. On Monday, November 11th at 11 a.m., I'll be talking about track. What do your metrics say? And you're invited, of course, Monday, November 18th to do some real-time planning with us. Bring your pen, bring your journal. We're going to be doing some 2020 planning. Finally, the last call of the year related to Coaching Business Builder and PlanDoTrack is on Monday, December 9th. That's due. Minimizing distractions. We are in a digitally distracted world. So what can we do to minimize those distractions? Well, I'm really curious. Again, we're stepping into a new decade in a few months. We're actually in the start of fall 2019, getting into this last season of the year. And I'm curious to know, what's your plan to grow your team? Even if you're not putting physical members on your team, you may be adding on subcontractors. You may be adding on virtual assistants to help you scale your work. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about what it takes. Now, why grow a team? Lots of great reasons. Specialization. And while we may be a jack or Jill of all trades, it can be really important to partner with or bring on experts on board. Now, again, specialization may be per project basis or per team overall basis. Think about whether you want to bring on a subcontractor for a specific project or whether this person would be a benefit full time. We also really can think about growing our team by expanding our reach. We want to offer lots of different programs, products, services potentially, and this can help you expand your impact as well as your geographic reach. Chances are, in order to scale that way, we do need assistance. We may need a graphic designer. We may need support by editors, copywriters, people who can really help us think through these ideas, because it really is not always just a one-person show, even if we are a one-person show. I know in a lot of the projects that I work on, I work with a VA. She's with me about 5 to 7 hours a week, potentially really helping me with different projects. As needed, I bring in different graphic designers, I bring in sound audio people, video people, e-learning specialists for different projects, and that helps me scale it. And I know that whether it's me bringing in members onto my team or me joining other teams for different bigger pieces of work, it is about keeping it fresh. And I think very much as a solopreneur, we can get into our little box. We need to keep growing, especially if we're a solopreneur. There's a lot on our plate. Are we not only keeping ahead of the curve, but looking at what's down the road? And so that does require that we have really good skills in collaboration. Our partners, whether they're a full-time employee, a subcontractor, or collaborators, help us with inspiration and expansion of our ideas. So I'd like you to take a moment. If you have a pen and a piece of paper, now is a great time to grab it out. We're going to be doing a series of reflective prompts at different points through today. And I'd like you to think about this new season. Maybe it's just looking at the next 3 months. Maybe it's looking at the next year. What is important for you as a business right now? I'm going to set the clock at this moment, and I'm going to give us a minute to get you to actually take a look on the screen and think about all those different things there. What is most important to you as a business right now for the remainder of this quarter? And as you think about what's important, get granular. Why is it important and who do you need? Okay, you can't hear it. I'll turn the voice on so you can hear it next time. We're going to keep on moving because I think it's really important that we look at what is important now and maybe down the road to help us identify who do we want to add on. As I thought about it myself, there are some key allies, and as I go to start new projects, I need to return back to what's commonly known as the 6 factors of high performing teams. This really comes from a lot of the different research. I share this in Effective Virtual Conversations under the chapter 10, where I really go into more detail in terms of what are the things that we want to do. It's actually chapter number 11. And I put it under what makes teams excel, the 6 factors, page 349 all the way through to 355. We know that in any project, and this could be for growing your team forever or growing your team for a project, we need to really communicate our shared vision. What will success look like? Why is it important? Where are we going and what do we need to get there? Helping the people on your team understand where you are now, where you want to go, key milestones along the way, and what success will look like is critical. And that very much links into the second one, which is shared performance measures. If our team members, part-time, full-time, subcontractor, don't know how they're being measured or what good performance looks like, it's really hard for them to actually be able to take action. Part of our 6 factors of high performing teams is also about making sure that everyone has a really clear role. Do people know how they connect? Do they understand how they operate? How their task fits into another task, which fits into their vision, the vision for us, and the shared goals that we have. Very much a lot of these are interconnected, and while there's 6 different things, you might notice that there are certain things that aren't clear. So I've left goals to one of the last elements, but I think goals are really critical. Are the goals visible? Do people understand how important they are? As I was sharing last week when I was speaking, like, are they really smart E? In my book, From One to Many, about 7 or 8 years ago, I talked about the importance of having smart E goals, goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, and also E for exciting. If they're not exciting, we're unlikely to do them. Another key thing that we want to think about is how are we keeping people updated? What are our shared team practices? And evolving a team culture is critical. If you're going to bring people on board, who are you as a business? What do you stand for? We're going to do a little bit of work around that as we move to the second part of our call today. Team practices are key, especially in a virtual space, and really try to create consistency. Again, part of the PlanDoTrack Coaching Business Builder is all about creating consistency. One thing I like to do with my team, whether it's just my virtual assistant or others, is always have a 30-minute or 15 to 30-minute Monday meeting. Start of the week, let's be clear on where we're going, what key priorities are, and what projects need to be actioned. These are team practices that really help us with communication, sharing insights, sharing resources, sharing challenges and opportunities. It also is a chance for us to feel connected. If people don't feel connected, which is likely in the virtual space, they're not going to bring their best self to work. So it really is a two-way street. And certainly in teams today, especially remote teams, we want to make sure that people feel that they are part of an identity, that there is shared commitment, that people have each other's backs. So in my team meetings, when I meet with my VA, it's always about what's your schedule this week? When might you be available? When is it not a good time for me to send things? I'll also communicate. Here's what you should know about my week. Today I'm going to be running. Tomorrow morning you'll get blog posts, etc., etc. So for yourself, as you go to establish a team, think about how you might use these 6 factors of high-performing teams. I'm often talking about them in the landscape of how do we, as team coaches, work with team members. Now, once you've got a team in place, it's useful to pause and reflect. And I think that's one of the real benefits of coaching is it's a pause point. It's a place for us to stop and pause and reflect. And I wanted to share with you 7 questions. There is a bonus question here. So write these down. You might want to stop the recording. But number 1, as you think about the next quarter or the next year, what does a team need to excel? What will help the team be at their best? Also think about what your major challenges and opportunities are going to be. Having a collaborative discussion, hearing from everyone on the team can be very insightful. We often don't take time for that, but let's, if you are managing a team, really important to build in space for that. Also think about what development opportunities are going to be important. There are so many different ways we can grow teams through ongoing team coaching, but also retreats, mentoring, on-demand learning, team meetings. What can we be doing to help people develop? They may also engage in MOOCs or undertake other development outside of their job. Number 5, what requests do I need to make of the team right now or my boss? And how will we measure our success? You'll probably notice metrics are a key thing that I really like to zoom in, hence the notion of plan, do, track. Finally, as a bonus, it might be useful to discuss as a team what will help you to magnify or expedite what's working. How do we turn up the volume on what's working and perhaps dial down the things that aren't? Growing a team, growing a business is all about community, and you'll really want to think about those touch points and those conversations that you have that help you get to know each other, trust each other, and focus. Finally, I think before we get into some questions for you to consider, if you grow your team, really think about why you're growing your team. We grow a team to hopefully delegate, and I think as coaches, it can be really tricky, and this holds true for other businesses as well, holds tricky to be delegating. So in PlanDoTrack and Coaching Business Builder in section 4, there is an exercise there for you to think about what do you want to delegate. It asks you to think about current activities and what are the things that you want to make sure you do, you dump, you defer, or you delegate. Now, I've written quite a bit on the topic of delegation over at the Teams 365 blog. You can find that at my main site, potentialsrealized.com. We really want to be discerning as our team grows. What are the things we need to let go of and what do we need to delegate? And as I said recently, in delegation, we want to go back to the basics. 5 W's and an H. What gets delegated to who? How do they need to approach the work? That's the H. What resources will they have? What are the time frames? What are other key pieces of information? And why is it important, right? Again, part of what we do as growing a team and growing a business is helping people to understand the big picture or the context. So if delegation is an area of focus for you, I really would invite you to make sure that you are spending some time looking at page 119 and 120, which is really at the back. There's a tweetable tip here that I write. Do you fall into the trap of not delegating and doing it all yourself? At what cost? There is a quick exercise for you to undertake on page 121 around delegation. And if you're interested in more, let's have a discussion around this. This is a great area for coaching, I would say. And a lot of business owners wonder, how can I work with you, Jan? And just a reminder that in addition to the bi-weekly Coaching Biz Growth Lab, I am available for one-off as well as ongoing coaching conversations. Now, when I say one-off, it's more of a mentoring session with a coaching approach, but you can also engage me for a VIP day. I will be doing a number of those to help business owners map out their 2020 as well as their 2020 decade. I think that's really exciting. So reach out, info@potentialsrealized.com if you're interested in that. So we're going to move to a working area. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. For a minute and 30 blocks, we're going to move through a couple of questions. And I'd really like you, without engaging me for a VIP day, to think about a couple of questions. First of all, where is it that you want to grow your work in the next 12 months? Think about this time next year. What do you want the next decade, or sorry, what do you want the next year to look like? Got 90 seconds to write it down. All right. It's interesting how we can really get into a phase. So think about the next 12 months again. What are the elements you want to create? Maybe you want to launch a podcast. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to have full programs. Who could help you? Highlight 3 to 5 things you want to create in this next year and identify who can help you. Okay, we'll keep moving on. Next question. As you think about this next year, what are the themes of your work? And once you've thought of that, what would help to magnify this? Really, two things. Are there some themes you're going to work around, and what will help to magnify? Okay. Now think about the people. Again, today's topic is about growing your team. Who are the people that can help you? Look back to the different areas that you want to grow your business in. Who brings those experiences? And if you have a copy of Coaching Business Builder, don't forget to undertake the relationship web exercise. Ultimately, who are the people you need on your team? Okay. Now, we don't want to just bring people on board. It can be really useful to have a specific job or role in mind. So it might not be a job description, it could be a role description. As someone who has worked in HR for many years and as someone who did recruitment for many years, our job descriptions can vary, but at the bottom of the day or the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have the role title, an outline of the key focus areas, a listing of the main tasks that they're responsible for, and anything else. You'll also want to note what are key resources that they want to have available. A minute and a half really isn't enough, but I'd like you to at least jot down what are these different categories. And this might be an exercise that you continue to think about. If you were to hire someone, if you were to go out and say, hey, do you have someone who's similar? Having a job description or a task description is really useful to have in hand. Let's take a minute and a half and note what the job description could be for your number one person. Okay. So success starts with small steps. Even as I've been working through this today and I go through similar questions regularly, there's a lot of information that comes up. I want to give you another minute and a half. What are the steps you want to undertake this fall on a regular basis towards your business? Let us know what those key things are in your writing. All right. As you think about your business, what is important to communicate or share? Take a few minutes to give your backstory around this topic. What would you share in a soundbite? Okay, and one more question. If there's anything that comes to mind around your brand theme, brand colors, or metaphors, okay? So, brand, think about the brand and what's important to communicate about your brand. All right. Final question. What questions will people have for you as you think about onboarding people? Are there frequently asked questions? Are there directories of your work, portfolios of your work, case studies of past work, archives that you would direct people to? Think about where you're going to direct your folks. All right. And finally, what are the relationships that are important? What new insights have you gleaned about growing your team in our time today? I would like to leave you with just one more minute to have you think about what have you decided as next steps. Make sure you bullet out the top 3 things of next steps. Take another couple of secs. All right. As I said, consistent action plus daily steps plus focused attention equals momentum. We are stepping into fall, an opportunity, I think, to spend the next 90 days, 92 days or so in consistent action. I've just made a commitment in this few minutes that I'm going to undertake 30 minutes a day focused on my latest body of work, which is known as virtual pathways or remote pathways. Really excited about that whole body of work of remote pathways and the different ways people find themselves in. If you're interested in this topic and others, so group and team coaching, developing your coaching business, remote leaders, join us at the Conversation Sparker Zone. That's hosted on Mighty Networks. You can sign up at bit.ly/join CSMN. That's bit.ly join CS Conversation Mighty Networks. And that's a whole community board that I hope you'll join us for. You can also check out past calls, including the one you see on the screen, Collaboration 101, over at youtube.com/effective group coach. You'll see a PlanDoTrack and remote pathways headers there, along with Coaching Business Builder as well. Hope that you'll join me, whether it is for a virtual retreat, one-on-one coaching, VIP days, just like the graphics show. We're designing your house, we're growing your things, we're looking at the pathways of where you can go in your business. So let us know. Let me know how I can support you within that. And we will be moving forward to take your impact further. Make sure that you are looking at PlanDoTrack, Coaching Business Builder, etc. And I will be hosting this fall, of course, a 10-week session of PlanDoTrack Coaching Business Builder Facilitator Training. More of that online. If you would like to connect, check us out, Effective Group Coaching on Facebook, PlanDoTrack on Facebook, Effective Group Coach online. And with that, have a fantastic fall. Let us know where you're putting your efforts. What's that one thing you want to do for the rest of the fall? See you later. Take care. And thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye.